Hey, are you ready for today's lessons from Genesis 35 to 37? Yes? Let's jump right in. So we see in the beginning of this chapter, God commanding Jacob to move to Bethel. And as he goes to Bethel, he builds an altar as he first did when God appeared to him when he was fleeing from Esau. And he acknowledges God's protection and answered prayers and acknowledges him as God. And that act, from what I understand, before he put a pillar of stones or something, which was like a pagan act, but in this time, he actually, erected an altar. And as they were moving on, obviously, he was like, oh, we, trying to tell his family that, right, now we have to clean up shop. Every pagan thing you have, idols, earrings, and all, bring them out. Now, his family had a lot. Well, at least we know Rachel did because she stole her dad's idols. But then they had a lot to burn. And what came through to me here was that the Israelites, and this is something that I've known, obviously, I've read ahead and see how the story progresses, but it seems like the Israelites had a major problem living amongst those who didn't worship their gods. They always tended to, indoctrinate themselves or get indoctrinated into those pagan acts, even though they didn't serve the gods that the people did. So I noticed that that's a major problem for the Israelites. God appeared to Jacob again and reaffirmed his new name Israel and reiterated his promise to him as he introduced himself as El Shaddai, just like he did with his grandfather Abraham. And at Bethel, we saw, Jacob exchange that pillar for an altar. Now, sadly, Rachel dies giving birth to Benjamin on the way, and he buries her by the roadside and erects a sort of monument, which I hear is still there till today. I did some research and I've seen like the pictures of the place, and yeah, his beloved died on the way. Well, she gave birth to her child, which she first called Ben Ami, son of my sorrow, and he changed it to Benjamin. Yeah. Now, how did we just gloss over the fact that Reuben slept with his father's concubine, the mother of his half-brothers Gad and Asher, and Jacob knew about it? Hashtag, I'm done. These Old Testament peeps, eh? Anyway, did you notice that Isaac was still alive? That dude lived all this time. He lived up to 180 years. He called Jacob and Esau to bless them because he said he was about to die. And this chap was still alive and he got reunited with his dad. I was like, this family will never cease to amaze me. In chapter 36, there's a long list of the genealogy of Esau. Usually I skip past these things, but I've come to learn that they are important links to some secular and biblical events, people, and locations. For example, Anna, one of the descendants of Esau, was the one who found the hot springs. And in my recent trip to Jordan, we were pointed in the direction of the hot springs of Ma'in, which is somewhere in around the Dead Sea. So it's like, below sea level, and the springs are about 60 degrees centigrade. So when I heard the hot springs, I was able to put those two together too. And thank you, Anna, for discovering those hot springs. So moving on, we get to the story of Joseph. Now, Joseph is one of my best Bible characters, I have to say. I mean, his story is so inspiring since I was a kid. And obviously, Joseph was obviously Jacob's preferred son, and he was hated by his brothers. So obviously, because of how loved Joseph was, and he told them about the dreams, bowing down, and the fact that their father loved him, they didn't like him. So when they obviously had captured him and tried to kill him when they put him in the empty cistern, Reuben the shady was actually the most compassionate brother. He didn't want him to die, and he was planning to save him, after the brothers, were looking. But then while he was away, they sold him into slavery. But And then they obviously go and then they lie to the father that, Joseph had been killed. So still on this matter of deception, this lineage is special. Did you notice that Joseph's sons deceived him about Jacob's sons, deceived him about Joseph's death using a coat dipped in animal blood? Kind of like how he deceived his father Isaac wearing a coat of animal skin to pretend that he was Esau to get Esau's blessings. Some of these patterns are actually quite, ironic. Anyway, let's get to my hashtag getting to know God moment. And what I took from these chapters is this: God is consistent. I love how he kept reiterating his promise to Abraham's descendants. It shows that he wants them to know and have no doubt whatsoever that he means what he says and he'll never forget his promise. In 2 Corinthians 13:1, the Bible says that in the mouth of one or two witnesses shall a word be established. And God himself is those witnesses, because he keeps saying it once, twice, three times. And we all know that his promise to the Israelites was and is established. How amazing is it to know that we serve a consistent God? Thank you for joining me today. Tomorrow we'll pick up the story and read Genesis 38 to 40. Yeah, a bit of messiness going on, and I can't wait to share the story with you. So I'll see you here tomorrow. Have a lovely evening. Bye.